Good afternoon and welcome to our Polk County School Board special work session on October the 13th, 2020. And the purpose of our work session today is to continue with our superintendent search. And we are happy to have Dr. Vogel with us today and Mr. Reichert, both representing the Florida School Boards Association. And so at this time, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Reichert, if you would like to begin.
Thank you, Chair Cunningham, and good afternoon, board members. We'd like to provide just a few items, just a quick update today from our last meeting as we move through our timeline and moving forward with the search processes. Three things today that we'd like to talk about is to have Dr. Vogel review the upcoming community and staff forums that are scheduled and the board members that will be hosting each of those as we discussed at the last meeting. Also, I want to give a quick update on the screening committee and some of the information we've obtained in getting that group identified to date. And then at the end, we'd like for Rachel to provide the board with an update regarding the video that's out on the superintendent search, the online survey, which is up and running as of yesterday, thanks to Rachel and her staff, and also just a quick update and review on the search brochure, which is certainly a draft at this point, but we wanted the board to be able to see that. So at this point, if I could, I'd turn it over to Dr. Vogel to talk about our upcoming community and staff forums. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to first thank Rachel and Susan for handling all the logistics for these forums, and we're all set to go. The week of October 19th is going to be Community, Staff, and Student Input Week in Polk County because we have them all scheduled. Our first community forum will be October 19th at 6 p.m., and that forum will be here at the Jim Miles Center, and Mrs. Fields will be the welcoming school board member. On October 20th, we move to Winter Haven High School again at 6 o'clock there in the cafeteria. And Mrs. Reynolds will be our host for that session at that location. On October 21st, now that's a day, that's an early release day there. So we've scheduled our administrative staff forum there at Winter Haven High School, and that is going to be at 4:30. And Mr. Wilson will be welcoming the administrators to attend that session. And then at the same location at 6 o'clock, Mrs. Miller will be welcoming the instructional and educational support staff, and that will be at Winter Haven High School also. So we'll be having those sessions on the 21st. On the 22nd, we have our student forum scheduled at 12:30, and we're going to be doing that by teams, and we're going to be doing that through the office, the main office in Bartow, and that the students have been identified, and we've worked with Mr. Bridges on that. That's not technically a public event because students are involved on that, but we will be accumulating all of the input from the students, and we will be doing a report to the board on their input also. And then also our final community forum will be that night, October 22nd at 6 p.m., and we're going to be at Haines City High School there, and Mrs. Cunningham will be welcoming those that participate in that. We use a protocol for our forums, and essentially, we have modified it in order to make sure we're meeting the COVID guidelines at each location. But we asked three questions. First, we asked the strengths and the areas of Polk County schools that the new superintendent will need to understand and continue. So we're first compiling a list of the strengths. Then the second question that we get input on is what are the most critical needs and what future issues would the new superintendent have to understand and address. And finally, in preparation for the final brochure qualities that the board will adopt, We asked those participants what personal qualities, professional experience, and other skills should the board look for in the superintendent. And we do all of the compiling of that data and provide that to the school board. So we're all set to go for the week beginning October 19th. John?
Yes, right.
May I ask a
Sure,
question?
absolutely.
I have a quick question. So, when we talked, are you wanting a board member for the online welcome for students? Or how are we doing that one?
We're certainly we're welcome to have a board member do the greeting for that
For
group
the
also.
online part?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Townsend, would you like to do that? Would you please put Mr. Townsend in then? For
Yes.
the noon on the 21st?
Great,
Or 22nd, excuse me.
yes. That
Does
would
that
be,
agree with your schedule?
What date again?
It would be Thursday, October the 22nd at noon.
Yeah, that's fine.
right.
So if you could make sure that he gets the link or whatever, so if you could do the welcome there, that
Yeah,
would be great.
great,
Thank you.
Sounds good. And we're going to be working from the Bartos office there, so we'll coordinate to make sure that you have that link and can go ahead and
He's
do
all
that.
set.
Great. Thank you very much. And that is actually starting at 12:30, but 12
Oh,
o'clock would be a good time.
12:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In moving to the screening committee, based upon the board's input regarding working with identifying organizations that the board felt they would be available to potentially assist on the screening committee, we're looking to also consider the input that each board member has on individuals that they may want to have serve on the committee as well. So understanding that our task is to try to put together a representative group that represents a good cross-section of the greater Polk community, we are coming up with a considerable number of organizations that has been recommended from board members to consider. And we also, as I mentioned, we also aware of your individuals that you might have. In all likelihood, some of the individuals that you have as board members are also parts or members or involved in these organizations. What I would like to request, if at all possible, Madam Chair and board members, is for the individuals that you have in mind to potentially recommend to serve on this screening committee, that if you could provide those names to Susan by this Friday, with the potential of each, and also if each member may be a member of an organization, we would like to work with the chair to try to combine the individual maybe with a certain organization, so we can kind of get the biggest bang for our buck in having folks that are representative of the Polk community. Because I'm sure there'll be some individuals that might be a member or even hold office in one of these organizations that have been recommended. And we'd like to spend some time to try to match that up so we can get, again, the greatest representation that would work for the Board of Polk County. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. The agencies we listed, are we supposed to match names to that? Because some agencies I listed that I wouldn't have a personal,
No, no, ma'am. No,
Okay.
ma'd. No, ma'am. We'd asked for kind of organizations that the board felt they would want involved, and then we knew that the board members had individuals. And again, as I mentioned, I think there's a strong likelihood that some of the individuals can also serve as your appointee, but also represent an organization as well.
thank you.
Yes, I think Ms. Fields was first. Mr. Townsend, I'm sorry.
So my question, I think I presented it at the last meeting. What is the maximum amount of people that we're going to have on the screening selection committee? And how many names are you wanting from each board member?
Ideally, a committee around, 35-ish would be workable. As we mentioned before, we've had 36 or 37, but around 35. And then if we just see that there is a group or a person who really needs to be on this group, we do want to be as flexible as we can to meet the needs of the board and the district. as far as the number of names that you might have in mind. One approach is if you have, say, and I'll just pick 5 names, and then those 5 names can hopefully, the pool would be a little larger for those persons to match into an organization.
So when we submit our names, if we know that that person is affiliated with one of the groups that I might have suggested, then I need to put their, put that group by their name?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
be helpful.
And do we need to include their contact information as well?
If you have it, that would be wonderful. If we had the email address and the phone number or cell number for that individual, then that would kind of start compiling the list that I would eventually want to start communicating as soon as you formally appoint this group in January, because we still have some time on this. But I would kind of have immediate contact with those persons after your January appointment.
And then my last part of that question is, just because I give you 5 or 7 names does not mean that those people will be invited. Help me understand that.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, that is correct, but the final decision, after we work and try to massage this some, we certainly are going to bring back to the board the work that we've done. We're not going to basically, FSBA is not going to say these people are in or these organizations are in or out. We certainly will bring it back because we certainly have time to still get our best product. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Reynolds?
So I just have concern. It seems like the last time we were told not to give names for anybody at these organizations because of Sunshine giving the specific person as opposed to the organization would be, is that, can somebody clarify
let me-
for me?
Well,
Let me handle that one. Okay, so where we are is that once you've submitted all the organizations, we have a plethora of organizations. So what we want to be sure is that if there are 3 people on your list that you are wanting to be a part of this, we want to make sure that in the plethora of organizations that we currently have, that all 3 of your folks fit somewhere in there. If they don't, then it'll be a conversation that you will have with them, because we simply cannot have the size that we currently are looking at after molding 7 board members, plus Mr. Allen, plus superintendent, is kind of how we did it. So we're saying if there's somebody in there, I have one who is not on the list. So I can maybe slot him or her in an organization once I have a chance, we have a chance to review it. I just want to make sure if there's somebody in your community that you are passionate, that must be on the screening committee. For example, when I asked superintendent, and I'm just going to say it, she said Grady Judd. So Polk Sheriff is on the list. So the person from Polk Sheriff's, the person we would ask then would be Sheriff Grady Judd. That's kind of what we're trying to do, to make sure those people who are most important to you, but we don't need a list of names from everyone, because potentially when we call, and that'll be something down the road that maybe Susan will do or Mr. Reichert, okay, they'll work together, and they might ask a group who could do this, because there's a commitment to this. It's not just, okay, so-and-so or this organization should be asked to provide a person. That person also has to commit to the timeline and the dates to be available. So I hope I've answered your question. Right, so if there, so you've done the organizations, we have those. Now we need to make sure, so I'm asking you to keep if your people are in your organizations, and you don't need to submit. I'm kind of saying if there's somebody outside of that you're passionate about and you want to make sure they're on the screening committee, that's really what is the next step.
Okay.
Yes. We're working on that.
Okay.
We're working on that. In the meantime, if you would be so kind, you know what you submitted, right? Email to Susan or some called her on the phone, whatever worked for you. She can always give you your list of organizations, and then if you could look through that, and if there's any questions, bottom line, I'm going to say, talk to myself or Mr. Reichert, and we can move forward in that direction. Yes, Ms. Miller?
I just want to confirm, our names have to fit into organizations, or if you have someone that may be in multiple things, but is a community member that's pretty active, they don't have to go slotted into an agency
No,
category?
you just have to give us that name to make sure we can perhaps slot them.
And then if two of us have, I know probably
Go
some
ahead.
of our organizations have overlapped, but we may
Yeah.
have different representatives. That's going to be the conversation about who will be representing the agency.
And that's something we'll have to get to.
Okay.
I just put the person who you feel you would like, who's very important to you.
Okay.
And then if they're not in an organization, then we're probably coming back and having that conversation
Okay.
because the list is huge.
Okay.
Mr. Townsend?
Yeah, I tried pretty purposely to keep my list of organizations small.
You did.
Additionally, so I think I'm hearing is if there's a person from an organization that I think would be good, then I should select that. This gets complicated because the actual selection of the overall people isn't going to happen until I'm gone. So I mean, I can go ahead and give you all of my names now, but
Sure.
then I'm not the board member anymore. So, I guess I'm in the awkward position of asking, are people I suggest going to get thrown out?
No.
After,
No, I would be respectful to you, Mr. Townsend, as I've been respectful to Mr. Allen to include him up through this point. And since you've been through, if you submit a list of maybe top 3 names, I mean, I can't have 15 or 20.
Right, no,
Okay,
okay,
your top
okay,
1, 2,
okay.
or 3 people, I will work to make sure that your wishes and that those people are on there.
Okay,
Yes, sir,
thanks.
absolutely. Mr. Wilson?
Could I offer a thought?
Sure.
What if we submitted 5 names, and then somebody matches those up with the organizations, as opposed to us trying to
Right,
figure that out?
that's what we're doing.
Right.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
But I mean, I think if you set a number on it, that would be helpful, maybe 5 or 3.
I would say up to 3. I mean, if there's 3 people that are in the community that are outside of your list that you submitted, that you feel passionately about, as I've said, I have one who's come to me and asked, I want to make sure that person is somehow on there. So I'm asking you, maybe up to 3, is that a reasonable number, board? I mean, it's a group discussion, it's not me.
I think I'm struggling with not, I mean, you've obviously seen the list, but if I have someone that works in one of these organizations that I would assume if that organization is selected, that they would be the representative.
Yes.
But if that organization ends up not being selected, then I still want that person on the
Then
committee.
you write that name down.
So this is then people on the committee, people that are already with an organization,
Yes.
in addition to anybody who may not be with an organization.
I'm asking you to limit, yes and no. If they're on the organizations, we're going to try not to cut them. What we're saying is there's not enough room with the numbers we're looking at. Right now, there is not enough for each board member to appoint 2 or 3 more.
Additional, okay.
We'll have
Gotcha.
100, it's getting, yeah. So I'm saying, if you've put to organization, it's going to come publicly at everybody. And then if you say, oh, George isn't on there, he's got to be on there, we add George.
So we will have a chance to, if we
Yes,
see
ma'am.
somebody's not on the list, okay.
Am I
That
right?
was really
Yes,
what I
That's what
ma'am.
we've
was
been
getting to.
talking through. There's just a lot of
Yes,
moving
ma'am.
parts.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Mr. Townsend?
Thank you.
I mean, I think instead of how we started this out, which is like trying to match them up, I think
know.
your idea, pick 3 names. And
Exactly.
that creates 21 names.
Right.
Of those, we match up who's in the organization so far.
Yes,
The ones that are missing, then we can go find people for those organizations.
Correct.
I mean, I think if you think of it, I think probably conceptually what the problem was everybody thought this was like a one-time thing, submit your names,
know.
you're done. If it's kind of a work in
evolving.
progress, then I think that's
it
fine.
is. It is. Thank you for clarifying that. Ms. Reynolds?
And are these supposed to be people in our district or anywhere in the county?
I don't know your
Does
top
that-
3.
Anywhere,
I
okay.
would think anywhere, if you've got someone that you feel
Okay.
would really add to the mix. Ms. Fortney?
List. Is there a way to look at the master list? Because I may have somebody that I did not nominate as far as a group to begin with, and I might want to take a name off because I have no idea they're a part of that group. Does that make sense?
Sure, so what I would suggest then, if you'd please submit your top 3 individuals that you would like considered, and we'll take it from there. Give us a chance to work on it.
Do the top 5 because that might alleviate some of my concern.
Okay,
Because-
top 5 for you. Okay, done. Yes, Ms. Fields, go ahead.
comment. I understand that everyone was given an opportunity to give, I think, up to 10 names, I believe. So that means we're probably close to 100 names, I would imagine. And some of those names are probably duplicates, I would imagine. And so I think 3 to 5 is going to be a good number. 1, I don't think is doable. So I think we
Sure.
kind of agreed at least 3
Yes,
and no more than 5.
okay. Up to 3 or 5, whatever you're more comfortable with. As I've said, I have 1 outside of what I submitted. Everybody clear with that? And if you would be so kind and email it to Susan for us by this Friday, so that we can keep moving forward with the process, and then we'll get with Mr. Reichert and move forward.
Right.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair Cunningham. At this point, we'd like to have Ms. Pleasant come up and kind of give a quick overview of a couple of items that we discussed earlier.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Wow, we have a captive audience. I wanted to, for anyone who may not have seen it, just play, I don't know if you guys got to see it, but play the video that we put out late last week announcing the search. It really gets to the essence of the campaign that we have developed for this process. So I would like to play that right now, if possible.
Extra, extra, read all
Not
about it.
displaying, where's Nathan? There it is,
Polk
okay.
County Public School Superintendent is retiring. Who will become the next leader of the school district? Who will set the vision and direction for an organization that impacts more than 100,000 students' lives? And what will the junior superintendent have to say about this?
October 2020. This year makes me sicker than double veggie day at the cafeteria. Sure, I'm happy and all that the superintendent gets to take a load off, relaxing at the beach. But the dame is putting me in a tough spot finding a replacement. Sure, the board has their own so-called search firm, looking high-low for a new superintendent. But what about the students? That's who the superintendent will really be working for. I'm going to make my own search firm and get the best gumshoes, PIs, and sleuths on the job. They'll turn this county upside down to find clues on the best superintendent qualities. This will be my biggest decision yet. And I'm going to take it very, very seriously. I love cat videos. Oh, I have a Zoom call to make. Hi everyone, I've called you together because Polk County needs a new superintendent. You remember how awesome our last one was? We need one just as good, or even better. I need some ideas as to what we need to look for. Allison.
Well, obviously, we need someone who has a plan for e-learning. This is a new normal, and we have to continue to improve the way we teach our students virtually.
Right. Plus, more cat videos in the curriculum.
What?
Next, Alessandro.
Well, the soup needs to be tough as nails and protect our interests as students. Polk County Public Schools puts students first, right? And our superintendent needs to live that.
And every Tuesday needs to be Tater Tot Day.
That has nothing to do with what I...
Tyler, you're up.
Our next superintendent needs to understand the needs of all students, from pre-kindergartners to students like me who are studying in the school district's transition program. We're all different, and we need a superintendent who can stand up for all of us.
Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Trenton, bring us home.
A superintendent must actively engage the community in thoughtful, productive conversations to ensure the best experience for our students, staff, and parents. They must inspire everyone to constantly improve themselves.
I hope they inspire you to do your homework!
Mom, I'm on a call! Excuse me, Superintendent.
It's okay. I think these are great ideas about a new superintendent. We've got a lot of work to do, people. Let's get out there and search for the a super search!
Wait, what's the timeline for our search?
Do we need to go out to the community to see what they want?
Where can people give their opinions about the next superintendent?
How involved will the community be in the selection process?
I don't actually know. But I know somebody who does.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lori Cunningham, Chairman of the Polk County School Board.
Hello, Madam Chair. Could you explain to my super sleuths the process of finding a superintendent?
I would love to. We've contracted with the Florida School Boards Association to help us in the search for our next superintendent of schools. Over the next several months, we will conduct surveys and forums with employees, students, parents, and the public to help us understand exactly what Polk County needs in our next superintendent. Selecting a new superintendent is a huge task, and we need the community to help get it done. As we proceed through this search process, Junior Superintendent, you and your Super Sleuth team will need to pay attention to the updates on our district's website and social media accounts. I would like to ask you to encourage the public to follow us, stay engaged in the search process, and participate in the surveys and public forums as they are announced.
You've been a great help. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. And good luck, Super Sleuths.
Okay, team. Any questions? Good. Then get out there and find us a new superintendent. What a day. I think I'm going to take a nap. But first, more cat videos!
So that video, the entire PR team was a part of that. So thank you to everyone who contributed. It's been viewed 2,800 times on our Facebook and YouTube, and it's reached a little over 7,300 people. So, you know, and we wanted to make a splash with this, and I think we're starting to. We've also, yesterday we put out another video featuring Trenton. He announced that the surveys were open. That video has been viewed 5,700 times and has gotten, it's reached 5,700 people, and it's gotten 1,800 views. And because of the push we're doing, we've already got 700 survey responses, and the survey opened yesterday. So that's really great.
In one day?
One day, yes. We also distributed that to through an internal email, but it's out on our social, and the student video is helping to draw attention to it. And our website, we're updating it every time something new comes out of these meetings. So the timeline's been updated. The news release announcing the surveys and the forum, it's up there. So and that's also, the information has been released to the media. So we hope that you'll have a good turnout at your forums, and the survey is looking promising. So far, I have the rough draft of the brochure that it will not be done until the survey is completed, and we have the back page is really the missing piece with your qualifications and the application process. So I can hand each of you one of these. Okay.
I would like to ask, could you go ahead when you have a minute and announce that the surveys are open for how long? November 12th. Okay, so for those listening, the surveys that are currently online on our Polk County Public Schools website will stay live through November the 12th. So if you would like to participate, and we encourage you to do so, please make sure you fill out your surveys by November the 12th. And then the public forums were already announced by Mr. Vogel earlier today, and we may want to do that once again at the conclusion of this meeting. But I just want to say you've done a fantastic job. It's so cute. The children are wonderful, and what a great take. So turn it back over to you, Miss.
Yep, those
Yes.
are really the major updates that we had. Just we're keeping up with the information that comes out of these
Super.
meetings and helping to promote it and get as much attention to it as possible.
Thank you, Ms. Pleasant, to you and your team. And wow, these kids are going to have to start signing autographs going forward,
They
you know?
are.
Just never know. All right, Mr. Reichert, I'm turning it back over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One item that really has just surfaced, I would like to request that our first orientation meeting for our screening committee, once they're identified, into January is January the 21st. Because of a pretty major conflict, could I respectfully request that we change that date to January the 28th, which is just a week later? It works well in our schedule. That'll still give us another week before the next meeting. So I would respectfully ask that we could change that one date from January 21st to January 28th. I will certainly update the timeline and put that on the website tomorrow.
Board members, is everyone okay with that? We're going from the 21st to Thursday to another Thursday, the 28th. Is there anyone who sees any community event or something else going on that it would conflict with right now? Okay, I would say we go ahead and make that change, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. That really concludes with our information. Ms. Cunningham, unless you would like Dr. Vogel now to review the upcoming forums.
Yes, I think before we leave today, just to recap, if you could be so kind and just review the dates of each of the forums and the times and the location to make sure that the public sees that. Of course.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Then, as indicated, the week of October 19th is scheduled for all the community staff and forums. On Monday, October 19th, the first forum will be held at the Jim Miles Center right here at 6 p.m. And this is a community forum. On Tuesday, October 20th, at 6 p.m., the community forum will be held at Winter Haven High School. There is a staff forum that's held on Wednesday, October 21st at 4:30 p.m., and that is specifically identified for Polk administrators. That evening, Wednesday, October 21st, again at Winter Haven High School, there is a forum that is especially designed for teachers and professional staff. And then finally, on Thursday, October 22nd, at Haines City High School, there is a community forum scheduled for 6 p.m. What we've tried to do is identify 3 areas in the community that are convenient for community members to attend. However, all of the forums are open to anyone in Polk County should they like to attend. I also realize that many of our staff personnel are also certainly living in the community, and they're certainly invited to go to all those forums too. So we've tried to have forums that are convenient to as many people in Polk County as we can.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Vogel.
Thank you.
Board members, do we have any questions on the dates or times? Is everybody good with that? Any other questions regarding the search? I think our next meeting is going to be
November 30th.
in November the 30th. That was the one Monday after Thanksgiving break. We may have, as each of these are going forward and as we're moving along, we may move dates here and there, but we'll certainly be in touch with you because I always want these meetings, if possible, to be on same days that we already have board meetings, to make it easy for y'all to attend either a work session or a board meeting. So we will go forward, but as of now, that date is still set for November the 30th. If there's an issue with some of you because of the holidays for that date, we can talk about it. Just let Susan know for me, and then we can see what kind of an agenda we have for that meeting, and then we can possibly move it to another time that we already have a scheduled meeting, because I know there's one there in December. So, but as of now, that's when we'll be meeting again. And just want to thank the board members for being so kind. Yes, Ms. Fields, go ahead.
I just had one question. Who is maintaining minutes of the meetings that we're having? Are we getting minutes captured?
No, I have not been I have my notes, but I've not been submitting meeting minutes.
So do we need to have minutes?
Those are not meetings of the school board.
No.
Or, let me rephrase. Which meetings are you referring to?
I'm talking about the meetings that we're having today.
Yes, this is a work session and there should be routine minutes taken up.
Okay, then it would be for Susan to be doing that, yes. We will
Okay.
make
Yes, ma'am.
sure we do that.
I'm sorry.
And I've got detailed notes from everyone we've done, because I keep it, so we can get together and she can put those together for us.
Thank you.
Okay, any other thoughts or comments? Board members, thank you for being here. Personally, I appreciate the 6 of you that have been coming routinely. And our next work session will be on October the 27th at 12:30 here at Jim Miles Professional Development Center. So I look forward to seeing everybody then. And then, of course, that one will be followed by the board meeting at 5 p.m. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.